Let's go.
Hello, welcome to a bonus edition of Alienate UK. There is no Nicole because she's busy working while I'm having a week off, so it's all good. Anyway, so today's guest is Miles Ellis. Welcome to the show, Miles.
Welcome to be here. Nice to be here.
That's fine. So I know Miles because we met. The only time was when we went to Rendlesham a few weeks back. So we met up with Simon, one of Simon's sons, Elaine, myself, Tim, Mike's dog, Barley, is it? I can never remember the name of his dog. Yeah, we'll call him Barley for today. So, and we did the evening walk, didn't we? Which was pretty good. We didn't really get anything. There's a few odd goings on. We won't talk about my Bigfoot calling. We'll ignore that. Or we'll just
we put that to one side.
Yeah, but we'll never mention that again. But you live very close to Rendlesham, don't you? Literally on your doorstep.
Literally on my doorstep.
And how long have you been going there for now? Would you reckon?
7 years.
And how many times, say, a month? Do you reckon you'd go on average?
Try every month, but it's less harder in winter because it's just the weather.
Yeah. And you go out there on your own as well, don't you?
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Even during the day, I don't know if I could do it during the day.
Not at night, but daytime, but not nighttime. No, it's different. It's the feeling in the forest at night is totally different to day.
Yeah. Have you been on your own at night?
When I camp there, yes.
Yes, I remember you saying.
It's not a nice feeling.
No. So, out of all the times that you've been, how many times do you reckon you've had something happen? Whether it's paranormal or not, but something that you can't quite go, it was this, it was people doing that. You know what I mean? Something that logically you can't say 100%.
I think when I was camping there, obviously you just have electric, but there's no Wi-Fi, there's no signal at all. So probably at night time, I was probably looking in the skies, and you do see satellites. I think I did see kind of not orbs, but like a bit of meteorite, and then it would do something very out of place. It would be like a satellite or a meteorite, and it's like, that's not a satellite. It wouldn't all of a sudden gradually just decide to turn off.
No.
Or it would appear and it will then go off. So I've seen those. I've heard could be just wildlife. Trees snapping, trees breaking, weird sounds, almost like someone trying to make a whooping sound, but not really getting to that high pitch part, kind of dropping out. None of the camp, obviously you kind of sit there and you kind of think, is it anyone in the camp doing it? But then where we were at, we were quite really close to the woods, and it felt like coming like further in the woods, and I was like, who'd be doing that in the woods?
Oh yeah, unless it's a group that are going out investigating.
That's what I was kind of sitting there,
Yeah,
kind of going, well, is it actually just a group of people investigating it? Obviously, when I was camping there, I knew about the just the craft. I
yeah,
didn't. I didn't. There's only when I met Alex and he was talking about seeing other creatures, other cryptoids, and I was like, oh, because I knew about it because it was where the incident happened,
yeah,
and I didn't know it had other creatures in it. I mean, yeah, there's things which I've seen, which is like dark black figures, which I've seen in the forest.
yeah,
Um, but generally, when we walk down there at night, God, the feeling in that forest is like you feel like you're being watched every single step you make, and it's just you want to get out of there.
Do you not feel that during the day? Though?
Yeah, but I'm not. See, the thing is that at daytime I'm fine because I can see. I think at nighttime, because you can't
Yeah,
see,
you've got that restriction, haven't
yeah.
you?
Whereas
Yeah,
daytime, I've walked down there and it's like you know you've got someone watching, that feeling of being watched, but because you can see, it's for me. It's I don't feel at that point of scaredness. I feel quite fine.
yeah. You don't feel. Yeah, you don't feel boxed in. Like if
Yeah,
you're, like you said, like if you're in a like at night and even outdoor environment, you can't. It's like you've got walls all around you because you. It's not until you get closer you can see where you're going. You don't know if there's any potholes or a big drop or a wall or anything like that.
yeah,
Whereas during the day, obviously you see a lot further,
yeah.
and you can see and you can make stuff out as well.
Absolutely.
Usually,
There is when I was camping, probably we went there for 2 weeks, so like probably like Wednesday, middle between the week. This guy, I remember this guy being absolutely terrified, and he saw something, and I can't.
yeah,
The way you described it, you kind of go, "Oh, it's like a Sasquatch." Like it was a really tall, furry. He just said really tall, furry thing. He said that was terrifying when he just saw that.
yeah,
Because it's out of place. You don't see that in the forest. That really shook him up. I think also what shook him up more is that he saw quite a lot of orbs
yeah,
in the sky getting really close, and was like not touching the trees, but kind of shooting across the
yeah.
tree. And he won't come back ever. Ever since he had that encounter, he would not come back to the forest.
Mm. The thing is, though, that night when we stopped and we was in that bit when we had that night jay was flying about, I thought it was a bat.
Yeah.
We all seen what looked like white orbs like going between the trees, like in and out. It didn't last, like it was only a few seconds, but we seen it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like just stopped.
Yeah.
And that's very similar to the white orbs that I seen when I was with the first time I went and I met up with Alex. And I said to you, there's a family, they all have blonde hair, like bright white. And we seen like 2 go across, and I thought, oh, it's the kids. And you were waiting for the mum and dad to come past.
Absolutely.
And me and Alex had just stood there, like looking at across the top of this hedge, and nothing. And then we could see him further up, right the way around, and it was like, oh, it weren't them. Then we realised it was orbs, and then that was the same time where we seen the 2 lots of orange orbs. And that was round near to the white orbs. We stood near the UFO model statue thing.
Yeah.
And when we seen the orange ones, that was at the tree. Do you know where he's got the photograph of his daughter with that figure stood next to her? We was actually leaning. We was leaning on the branch chatting. And we seen him go across the floor twice.
Yeah. I've seen a Bigfoot duck across. Well, I was at the UFO statue, actually doing geocache, hiding a geocache actually, and the woods were very, very silent. And I went, okay, something is up, because all the birds stopped singing. And I was like, all right, something's in the woods. So I kind of, curiosity to find out what it was. I saw there's a tree on the other side of the track at this literally tall thing, kind of almost like I came out and it kind of literally ran behind a tree. And it was I think you could hear it, and I saw it, went, is that? And then it went behind the tree, and then I then saw it kind of almost like a poppy out effect, kind of pop out the tree and then kind of pop back into the tree. And I was like, okay, I'm getting out of these woods now.
So do you think, so just the way that you described that then, you said it like popped out of the tree and then popped back in the tree.
Like its face kind of went out and then went...
So do you think it come out of the tree itself, or was it behind the tree? Well, because a lot of people are saying that whatever these creatures are some sort of tree spirit or tree entity, and they're not living the tree, but they use the trees because that's their thing.
Yeah,
I can't think of the phrase for it.
Energy.
So do you think possibly? So do you think it's coming out of the tree? That's why when you see what looks like it's going behind, it's not actually gone behind the tree, it's gone into the tree.
Well, when I saw it run towards the tree and then it went behind the tree, and then I was like sitting there watching it, like, is it going to kind of an absolute shock? And I was like, is it going to come back out? Because I'm not making this up. Is it generally going to come back out? And it came back out, popped its head out and went, oh, almost like it kind of saw me and went, oh, it's still there. And that was the kind of feeling. When I obviously further on, I then started doing remote viewing. I did look back into that. And the thing what I got through was they live in a different dimension to our dimension.
Yeah.
And they use portals. So that's why we don't get a lot of footprints, because when they leave footprints, they're actually leaving they're leaving a footprint, and it's zoologically they're doing it. It's not because they can go around the woods without leaving any footprints. They just go, well, I'm leaving a footprint here.
Yeah. So they must.
That's what I got when I looked into what I saw. It was almost like not a panic, but it was kind of doing its own thing, and I was just there probably at the time, and it just, the feeling, it was like, oh, hello, and it quickly just went. Yeah.
So we said, so there's a couple of things there with what you're talking about. So with the footprint, I've been thinking about this quite a lot lately. I've had so many guests on, like we were talking about just leaving one footprint, and it's like that at that moment, if they are not physical prior to that, at that moment of leaving that footprint, they become physical. Could that be a frequency change as say they're going from a light frequency back to their own? They might have to go through all these other different frequencies to get to that. It's like tuning a radio. I know if you got your presets and that, but on the old dial radios, you've got to flick all the way through to get to the one you want. So say they have to do something similar to that at that moment, when they become a physical form, they leave that impact because of the weight.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them look like just pure solid muscle.
Yeah.
So the weight of it and how soft the ground is at that time could leave that imprint, and that's why you only see one. Do you understand what I mean?
I understand what I mean. Yeah. I've seen a footprint there. Yeah. Unfortunately, I had no cast, so I couldn't cast it. So I could only take a photo, which really did annoy me, because I was like, I wish I had cast.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about like all the dimensions are stacked on each other, And certain people, when I've spoken to people, either they don't see a Bigfoot, or someone else will see it and then finds that actually that person's at a higher frequency level, and they can see it, which is very
Yes.
interesting, actually.
But then, so Shelley's just put in the chat, but Andy nailed it, frequency. But I've only marked that up because of the next question that I want to ask you. So with it being a frequency thing, say me and you were out in Rendlesham and we hear something, and there's a group of trees and we see something like in the middle of these trees.
Yeah.
I'm on a different frequency to you. Do you think you would see something totally different than what I would? Or like you just said, only one of us would see something and the other one would be like, "What? I don't know what you're on about. There's nothing there."
Yeah, I mean, we haven't done experiment, but I've done it. Other people have done it. And
Yeah.
what was very interesting was someone else was at a very high frequency, and this other person was at a low frequency. So the high person could see this Bigfoot, Sasquatch,
Yeah.
and the person at a low frequency could only hear it moving around.
Yeah.
Which
They're
was
picking
very
up,
interesting because they
they're
did
picking up the infrasound. Sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
need to butt in.
So it was very interesting, but they had, I think it was, they had one person who was medium and one person who was very kind of skeptical, but also he was very scared. And when I did my Reiki, being in fear, it lowers your vibration very
Yeah.
quickly. And also when and also your frequency as well. So when you're in fear, your frequency just drops.
Yeah.
And then that can actually affect you not seeing things. So whereas someone else's frequency could be really high and they can see it, whereas you're in a scared thing and it goes zoom, and then that's why you kind of don't see it.
Yeah, because just with you saying that then, so if your frequency drops, that might be your natural instinct's way of, because you're scared of blocking out what it is you would normally see at the higher frequency.
Yeah.
So then these people that have had abductions and all that kind of stuff, because I know people that have claimed, I'm not saying they haven't, but I'm going to use the word claimed, so I'm not like agreeing with every single person that I've ever spoke to. When they've claimed that they've had some sort of abduction, some have said it's not been good, some have said it's negative, some have said it's positive. So I'm thinking if all the ones that are saying it's positive, maybe they're resonating at a higher frequency, and all the ones that are saying that it's a negative encounter, could that be they're resonating at a low frequency? And that's why they're getting a different taste of what it would be at a normal frequency.
Light does attract light. So if you're at a low frequency, you attract something lower. If you're at a higher frequency, you attract something higher. But also with like going into like the ETs kind of things what we might. There's some ETs who have emotion, but not emotion what we have. So they might not understand what you're going through, or that lack of understanding. So when someone's like going through this, they might not have that understanding, because that was when I started doing my thing, like looking at the sato reticuli. They don't have that lack of understanding what that person's going through.
Yeah.
When they then get it, it's like, oh, and they very quickly kind of interact.
Yeah, I suppose if they're doing what they do on a regular or a daily basis, that's normal to them, to the ETs, and it's not normal to us. But then it's like if you go like surgeons that do all these different organ transplants and body modification and all this kind of stuff, they do that on a daily basis. So to them, it's just normal, everyday, like watching TV, listening to the radio, making something to eat. because they're doing it so often, it just becomes second nature to them. Whereas if me or you was to start doing it, or anyone else, it kind of like freak you out a little bit at first, and it just like, I suppose, mess you up a bit. But then you become hardened. You become hardened to it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when I did my attunement for Reiki, this this was last year, in the winter time. I had a very interesting experience because obviously I've heard people who've seen craft and seen people who've been, abducted and had how horrific it has been for them, or some people have really good positives. So when I did my attunement, that experience what I had, that kind of changed me because I was at that point like really into investigating ghosts, but now I've kind of gone from investigating ghosts into investigating ETs, and now actually having direct messages coming from them, which I never think I'd go down that route, but it's almost like I've just gone that way.
Yeah. So when you receive these messages, when it first started,
for me,
how long ago was that?
So when I was probably 5 months ago, I'm talking about last year.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah.
So my first experience I had was when I met my guide, who took me on this amazing trip around in our galaxy, to this craft who was orbiting a sun, and the feeling I got was there just in case something happened, but not with the sun, something else. But it was very vague.
Yeah.
And then I was basically pulled back, and this is when I saw this Pleiadian. There was no interaction, it was just literally a face, and then it was back. And then when I started doing healings myself, I then started seeing faces, saw what we call the grey, but actually they are actually the satyrs reticulis. They're not grey. Their proper name is satyr reticulis. So I saw their face, and then saw the Pleiadian. She sent me really blue orb energy, and it very quickly raised my vibration really highly. And apparently, one of the other ET species was very curious what this Pleiadian was doing. Now, this wasn't physical. This was like something they call it not physically there, but I could see it in my face. So I had that experience. And then gradually, as I started to people then asked me to kind of look in, and I kind of like, oh, let's see what happens if I look into things. Then that's when I started having interactions. From probably one I had, which was profound for me, was when I went, because obviously Arizona is known for its UFO phenomena. And I was like, oh, let's see what's really going on, because people say it's like energy and all of this. So I was like, let's have a look. Interesting thing, when I virtually went in to look at it, immediately was brought underground, and I saw this massive, I mean, not joking, this city. And this is when I then met the Garthans, who basically lived on the surface, what they were telling me. And the feeling I got is they weren't on this planet, they came from another planet, lived on this surface. Some sort of war happened, which basically made them go underground.
Yeah.
And there's also, and they kind of, took technology with them. So they are there, and then you've got the other species, you've got the, I call them raptors, they're not called the raptors. So they evolved from dinosaurs, and they came underground before the meteorite wiped out the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So they, very interesting, they live in their own little group, kind of away from this city, which is quite as massive if you ever see it. It's what I kind of got from them. I can't say a word. It's advisable to go down there without being, escorted down there, because you can be considered as food.
Yeah.
Which was like lovely. That's really thing. I mean, when I first saw it, I wasn't really kind of scared. I was like, oh wow. But they all kind of agree what should really happen down there. They all kind of agree. And there's always like their sun. It's not really a sun. It's felt like the sun was like it was made. It kind of reduces its own energy and recycles the energy. So it's like basically not coal. It just keeps recycling its own energy.
Yeah.
So the Garthans said like this city. I didn't see all of it. I just saw how you couldn't see the rooms. It's massive. They there's tunnels what goes to like they were talking about Egyptian, like there's tunnel what connects to these, which they said is a spaceport where trade goes on, and that's why you see craft coming in and out at Arizona, is that they're going through these where I could just go, they're coming from the spaceport, outside the spaceport, but there's like a hologram, which I found was very interesting, where it's like it looks like a normal rock, and it's not a rock. And they were telling me is that craft get directions to kind of go in this direction, and they go through a hologram, and they're in the city, but the city is in what they call the hollow earth, like really deep, not near the core, but like it's really deep.
Yeah.
And they're saying is that when people see these craft, it's actually because it's a very active spaceport. So our government has people down there, they were saying, who work down there. There's a positive relationship with the governments down there, with our, not government, but it felt like American government, who basically there's been a standard deal between them that the Garthans look after the Garthan network, which it's called the Garthan network, and they basically call us the surface dwellers. We look after the planet, but they do have concerns of where we're going with the planet, like with the pollution and all of this, what we're seeing. They have really concerns about it, and they do raise it, but there's always been agreement that you deal with that and we look after what goes on here. So that has always been that's always been agreement. They're quite high vibration, very tall when you see them. I kind of got the impression from one of them is that they don't want to come up and start, not leading but kind of helping us, because it's like, well, they don't. The impression I got was they generally don't. They look at us as like, why do you want to come up and deal with screaming children who don't really know what they're doing? That kind of impression. It felt very hard from one of them, and that's when they said, we don't deal with that. We tell your governments that you need to kind of start clearing stuff up, but the agreement's always been actually surface dwellers look after the planet and we look after the underground, and that's always been the standard agreement. They have a police force, which there's human beings there, and there's also different refugee species there. There's multiple species that come in and out of the city, so they don't really kind of like human beings down there. The feeling was that they generally, when we get through this, what they call this disclosure event, is it be a little bit open, but they generally don't want screaming kids running around. They call us terrans. They want screaming terrans running around the spaceport. So they limit they limit how many humans they can what are down there. So they're different to a player agent. When I stopped looking into them, when I came out, I was back here. One of them actually followed me back home. I was in the couch, and all of a sudden, this tall white Nautic was standing right in front of me, and that really did, really in my face, and that really did scare me. Later, then found out was that it was very curious as why I was looking into their home, their spaceport. It was I was told it's very curious why it was looking in. What was I doing there? That's why it followed me back.
Yeah.
When you kind of come out, it's like, oh my god. It did go, but there was no communications it's only when I went back in to moat through it again, that's when they said, it just came to kind of, why are you checking in and what are you it was mostly
seeing what you was up to.
And I was thinking what they were doing, and he was thinking what I was doing. So it was very, very. I wasn't expecting that to happen.
No.
I was like, oh wow, hello. But their city is amazing. If I want to go down there, but I can't go down there. But it's really cool.
Yeah. No, that's fascinating. We have got some questions for you.
Yeah.
So, this one's from Elaine, Simon's wife, Elaine Bright.
Yeah.
So she said when we walked over, so she's going back to Rendlesham now.
Right.
When we walked over the other side a few months back, we smelt what smelt like wet dog. It's quite strange. It wasn't the pigs over the other way either, as it was getting dark. Does Miles remember that?
Yeah, I do remember. I remember that conversation. Smell like a wet dog. Yeah, I do remember that. So I think Simon said, "Oh, it could be gas," and we went, "Well, why would it be gas in the other forest?"
There's no pipes there, is there?
There's no pipes.
There's no electric. There's no water. There's no.
No. What was very interesting, as quickly the smell came, it very quickly went.
Right.
And it was like we smelt it and stopped, and I went, "Did you smell that?" And then they went, "Yeah, I smelled that." And then Renee's partner went, "Could be gas." And I went, "No, that can't be gas." Because obviously you can smell if it's gas. And I was like, why'd there be gas in the other forest?
I suppose, though, he was trying to think of a logical explanation for it.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing that you do is, think of what it could be in reality, I suppose. Next question is from Shelley. And she wants to know, does Miles also get numbers, names, and symbols?
What we're talking about? We're talking about Rendlesham Forest or just general?
Just in general, I suppose when you're doing the remote viewing.
I see symbols. I see craft.
Yeah.
I see craft. See craft. I go into the craft. I do see numbers, but I'll be honest with you, I don't really have no clue what the numbers mean. But I do see some numbers, but mostly it's shapes, feeling. It's mostly that, really.
Yeah. So, quick question before going to the next one. So, when you're remote viewing, are these other entities aware of you being there?
Absolutely. I think when I looked into Arizona, the Garthers were absolutely fully aware that I was there.
Really?
They were absolutely aware that I was there, and they weren't what I'd say hostile. They kind of just let me look in. They weren't kind of restricting me. They did kind of, let me see a meeting, what was going on there. They were discussing about different things. I can't this is quite a while back.
Yeah.
I do remember governments being there and being frustrated because the deal wasn't going their way. It was going more the other way. They
Yeah.
showed me that, and they weren't trying to get rid of me. It was more like, well, we know you're looking in,
Yeah.
and
We're keeping our eye on you.
it was more that feeling
Yeah.
like we're
Yeah.
not looking in, but we're gonna kind of watch you.
Yeah.
Or, but there was most of the time it was mostly interaction, but it was definitely like, well, we're gonna watch you and kind of, you know, see what you're gonna do.
Yeah. See what you're about, I
Yeah.
suppose. Yeah. See that? Yeah, because that'll bring me on to the next question now. So this is from Grand Eyes 12, and he wants to know, because I know you've already explained it, but we put question Miles, welcome lad. Is Miles Ellis based out of Arizona, or was he just doing research there? Was he in Sedona, Arizona, where it said a lot of paranormal activity is there? Because you're saying about there's a main gateway in and out through Arizona, but
Yeah, sorry,
that,
yeah. I was trying to
sorry.
read the thing. Yeah, I was in. I didn't research it. I just looked in. It was only when someone said that, oh, there's a lot of UFO activity. I went, I'm gonna, remote view it.
Yeah,
So I did go to. I didn't physically go, but I energetically went to Arizona.
yeah,
But it's Sedona where there's quite a lot of. But Arizona's got a lot of activity.
yeah. So another question. So when you're remote viewing, do you bump into other remote viewers? And are you aware of each other, if, as and when you do?
I've came aware of one, but he was actually no, sorry, she was looking at something else. So I wasn't gonna interact with that other remote viewer. I was just
Yeah,
doing my own thing, but I was aware of that other remote viewer doing something else, which
right,
I wasn't looking into what that remote viewer was doing.
right, okay. No worries. Cheers for that. So another two questions, both from Shelley. First one, has Miles done a longitude and latitude map of his experiences?
I get coordinates of
Yeah,
where it is. I get coordinates and quite a lot of the when I do remote thing, they like show me a map where it is, and then I go to where it is on the map.
yeah,
That's how it works with me. They
yeah,
kind of show the map first, and then it's right. Here's the map. Now you're gonna kind of go in and feel it.
yeah. So it's like confirmation.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, I get that. Cheers for that. Next one. Sorry, because Nicole's not here. She normally does the questions, so I've not done it for a while, so I'm struggling a bit. I've done that one. Next one from Shelley again. And it asks Miles, has he ever seen our company reach out into another place and bring something back into where they are without actually leaving their location? So I'm guessing you've reached in somewhere by your remote viewing and physically picked something up and brought it back without physically being in that location.
the only thing I could say is the only thing what has ever followed me back is probably when that Garfin followed me back.
Yeah,
That was just out of curiosity. I mean, I've looked into quite a lot of things, and yeah, okay, you do get some things that kind of follow you back, but it's almost like the feeling you kind of get is like, well, you looked in, so now I'm going looking what you're doing. But
yeah,
they don't really hang around a lot because I do ask my guy to kind of send them back, and they do go back, but they don't hang around a lot.
yeah. No, I'm just replying to a couple of questions in the chat as well. Right, next one is from Todd and Carmela. So I'm guessing it's Todd. He wants to know, how many different places have you remote viewed? Planet Earth, different galaxies, and dimensions.
Ooh,
Do you have a list? Do you
I
write
haven't.
them down?
This is
Do you
pretty
write?
bad, actually.
Do you write it down every single place you do? Do you keep note of it all?
I've been to the planet where the players have been. Now, they know we call them players, but their name's not actually players. And I can't actually remember the full name. It's like if you hear it, it's like, well, that's a very interesting name. So I've been to their planet. Their planet is totally different to our planet. It's absolutely amazing. I wish I could physically go there and stay there, but can't. So it's very interesting, like seeing like their planets and then the Orion's planets, which is a very interesting planet because their planet is literally, they've got a crystal, and the energy of that crystal kind of helps you calm down, but it kind of goes like a cycle around the planet, that is very interesting. I've been to that. Where have I been? I've been to Satori Reticuli, where they live. Their planet's very interesting compared to our planet. Totally different to ours. Well, comparing it to Earth and kind of going, well, wow, that's interesting. I think the really interesting planet would probably be the Plane planet, because that's very, oh wow, that's very sci-fi. I wouldn't mind staying there. But yeah, they use quite a lot of crystals actually. It's very interesting. They use crystal minerals and other stuff and that. But yeah, I've kind of obviously looked into that, and yeah.
No, thank you. So is it like a full protection around the planet, or like a layer?
Are we talking about
with the crystal? The way the crystal works, is it like a full atmospheric cover?
So what I got from the crystal was the crystal was there.
Yeah.
They have a lot of people coming in and out who, discuss, the way it's described what we have on Earth, like politicians wise, like discussing those, and also like contract agreements. They say the crystal is there to kind of, relax people, relax the energy. Also, it's there, it does something else. They say it kind of helps the planet, balances the planet, and keeps people's vibration the same.
Yeah.
So it kind of is right in the middle of their city, and it kind of keeps the vibration the same. So when you're there, you're not really, you don't feel, well, you feel fear, but it's not, you feel calm. And the crystal recycles your energy, and it kind of helps the planet as well.
Yeah, you don't feel anxious or worried or anything like that.
No, they did give me technical terms, but I can't actually remember what the technical terms were.
That's fine. We know what you mean.
I could just tell you what they said it does, but a very, dumbed down version. Because they were trying to explain it to me in a really advanced version. I'm like, I have no clue what you're saying. They went, you've got to make it dumb.
Let's simplify it.
Not in a rude way, but they kind of went, well, if you make it a little bit dumb, you can then understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. Right, next question is from Grandizer again. Grandizer, sorry. Keep getting it wrong. Miles, what were your influences that got you into the paranormal? Books, stories passed down, movies, TV shows, family members that are into the paranormal, or anything else?
Experiences.
That the main key.
Well, things like I lived in a house which has been haunted. Rumored to be haunted, I'll correct myself. I've seen things flying, I've seen unexpected things which like a cup, like a not cup, so like a curtain, just all of a sudden being still moving. Laundry basket fly downstairs. That was like that couldn't fly downstairs because then we could get downstairs if you physically moved it, and it's quite a loud laundry basket, so you would hear it going down the stairs. So those encounters, seeing a partial apparition, not a full apparition, seeing orbs. I've seen an orb go from the lounge into the kitchen, seen one go past the staircase. So that kind of interested me. And then when I then heard about the Rendlesham Forest incident, that got me interested into it. And then from there, it just kind of grew. But it started off in the paranormal and then ended up in the UFO phenomena as well.
Yeah. So what do you prefer? What's your go-to paranormal genre?
Me, I'm learning that actually probably I'm more going towards like cryptoids and more talking to what people call the light beings, but actually they're aliens, ETs. So I'm more going that way because I was from a very young age. I was all up to probably high school. Was always into the paranormal. Watching Ghost Adventures, all of that. Very into it. And then it was probably when I then started doing Reiki, I then began to kind of change from looking into the paranormal to then kind of looking into cryptoids and ETs, and it's now gone that way, which I would never expect it to go that way.
Right. Yeah. No, cheers for that. Next question, and it's from Shelley, and she says, promise Andy, last question, even though it doesn't ask as many questions as you want. I'm not an RV, but why would I get out of nowhere seeing people doing stuff? The first time I was watching a man and he saw me and looked directly at me. So it's like, I suppose it's like out of body.
Well, you've got, I was trying to think, you've got remote viewing, you've got astral projection, which people do a lot of astral projection. So I'm reading, I'm thinking, well, could it be remote viewing or could it be actual, can't say the word, rejection? Where, because I do know people who actually do train and do a lot of it.
Yeah.
Or could it be your frequency at that time was high, so you saw it?
Like a crossover, like a crossover of the veil. Like when you see, it's like when you see what we call a ghost or a spirit. I don't believe that these ghosts and spirits that we do see, I don't believe that every single one of them is someone that's passed. It could be somebody else in a different dimension, and we just them two, our dimension and the dimension that they're in, the wall between them goes very thin, so you can it becomes like a window rather than a wall. So you can see each other at the same time, and you don't really know what's going on. So you're both looking at each other thinking, huh? And then, because it only lasts for a few moments, and then it's gone again. So that's why I'm very thingy when they say it was a ghost, it was a spirit. I'm not. I've said to you as we were talking when we was in the forest that night, that I'm not 100% convinced that ghosts and spirits are what we actually believe they are. Not all of them, anyway.
No. I mean, you've got, I'm trying to remember this now. You've got people like mediums who really do like fully look into like the paranormal, who are very into the paranormal, who have said, not from me, but I'm just saying what they said, like you've got when you come earthbound, you are, in that low vibration. When you cross over into the higher vibration, what they call the love vibration, that you're fully healed as a spirit, but what was interesting, what they said was is that, you know, there's different things in the lower vibration, there's different things in the higher vibration. It's not just all, you know, humans, it's, you know, different things.
Yeah. So I've got a question now. Do you have a bucket list of places that you want to remote view?
Yes.
And
Working with
how far into the bucket list have you got?
well, I've done Stonehenge.
Yeah.
I've done Sedona.
Yeah.
I always get Sedona and Arizona always confused. I've done them. I've done the Pleiadian planet. What have I done? I've done looking into the because you hear a lot of people talk about when they get inducted, and being me is like, well, which species is doing this? Which species is actually, you know, doing the inductions? And kind of that was on my bucket list to kind of figure out, well, which species are the ones doing this to people, and what is their reason to doing it? You know, is it because they're doing it for, I don't know, for, could be multiple reasons why they're doing it. So I've looked into that, and that's when I kind of found out that you've got the sages reticuli, who basically what their goal is, what they said to me their goal is, when I looked into it and I was remote viewing this, is they want to extinguish their clone line, because apparently they have cloned themselves and they've lost the ability to reproduce themselves.
Right.
So what they decide to do in their, because they're quite known for their genetics, is to kind of take and also get their spirituality back as well, is take that genetic from a species that has spirituality and then take that and then kind of copy that, and then to kind of extinct that line and then kind of move into this spirituality line is what their goal is to do. So the interactions, what they've said to me is that with, like, say, example governments, is that they've said we've kind of give planet Earth, we kind of give governments technology, but exchange from DNA.
Yeah.
And their goal is to do that, and that's what they're kind of focused on. It's like, you know, doing this, but also I've also, when I was looking in, is that they're not always actually aware. Well, they're aware, but I mean, it's like when it comes to our emotions, their emotions are totally different to our human emotions. So what we might, it comes across like really horrible and really harsh, but it's that lack of understanding of what that person's going through, and it's like they're figuring it out, but it's almost like you have to kind of say to them, you know, look, this is really not nice. This person's going through logical scarring, all of that, and it's almost like that kind of wake up call. So they have because when I started looking into this, I was, you know, the what was that famous induction? Was it some induction in America? Was it Betsy or someone?
Oh, Betty and Barney Hill.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
I was looking into that, and what was really, really interesting is that the species, they were satyr reticuli. They actually did renounce themselves and said, "Yeah, we are the satyr reticuli." And they, which was, this shows you like technology-wise how they're. It's more like Avatar. Is they said we teleoperate. So they explained it is they have they make a biological being, they transfer their consciousness into that being's consciousness, so they feel and see anything, but they can be miles away. They could be at their home planet.
Yeah.
And what they said is what people are seeing is actually they're I can't speak the word now, teleoperating into that, what is called a clone, but when they say when it's got a conscious into it, it's not actually a clone. It's actually they then class as an actual person. But they do that because they say certain planets they can't go to because it doesn't support them, their needs basically. But they say they tell when they take people, which sounds it's horrible when you feel into that, because you feel the fear that person going through. Then you then feel their lack of responsibility, what the stage of ticklies are doing. So they teleoperate, and when they're like doing DNA and all this, that is more like what I call scientists doing that. And then as you go up the list, you've got like a military stage of ticklies who are very big, very muscular, who their job is, they're just military, they're muscles basically. They're the ones you go into.
They do all the grafting.
Yeah. And then as you go up the list, you get ones who are in charge who have very big heads. And what they're saying is the reasons they have that is because they need to be a little bit more, obviously not intelligence, but have to have that more space for crowd to do all these tasks below them. And they're the ones who are basically saying to the ones at lower level, right, this is what we're doing, this is what we're going to do, we're going to stop this, one's in charge. So they only, very interesting enough, is they only take contracts on tech and panicky. So they don't take contracts on what we said our word. It's more like, well, we're taking this contract because actually it's going to be beneficial for us. So they did do a contract with our governments. It was a very bad deal. And it was more, they took it because actually it's going to benefit us more than it's going to kind of benefit you. So they're more, I'd say, 1 minute they're like, the feeling I've got was 1 minute they're doing something really helpful for us, and then the next minute they're doing something not helpful. But they only take contracts which not serves them, but is technically, it's benefiting them.
Yeah.
And, they have emotion, but it's that lack, it comes down to that lack of understanding. So they could be doing something on a person and have that lack of, okay, this person is in absolute trauma, absolute pain. They then kind of take some, not a while, but they then figure out, oh my God, that person's, going through that. So they kind of then interfere or take the pain away. They generally, their goal is to basically, from quite some time now, is to take genetic DNA from what they call, we are very spiritual in their eyes, is to take something very spiritual from us and then basically take that genetics and then clone and then basically extinct their other line, and it should be this line. So that cloning line which are on now, their aim is to get rid of that. So they don't have
so they can reproduce.
And also the thing they always said is to be more spiritually close. They somehow lost that when they did a lot of cloning. And
I suppose it's like a production line, isn't it, Chloe?
Yeah, and they've been stuck in it for quite some time. And their goal is to do that. Now, what people are saying is like, you see like the tall whites. Well, the tall whites were actually one of the sacred ticklers, one of the hybrids who, let's just say, basically wanted to do their own thing. So there's like different shoots which do connect to the satyr ticklers, but they're different if they've got their own one way, or they're hybrids to interact with us, or they are. So there's different offshoots, and I kind of got the feeling is that themselves are trying to figure out which way to kind of, stick to. Well, should we stick to this kind of hybrid template and then go from there and kind of develop it? So
Yeah.
really, that's what they were saying, and it's not self-centered with them. They just take contracts which benefits them, and our government's got annoyed because when we say, well, we meant our word, and they kind of go back on that.
Yeah.
Some sort of misunderstanding where we kind of gone, oh, you mean they've done it on their what they want, and then they don't follow what we wanted in return.
Yeah.
So I think the governments have learned very quickly, what.
Yeah, they're doing it for their own benefit.
Yeah.
Regardless of what they say to us, and
and it's very, when you look into it, this is not one session, but it's like multiple sessions. You look into it. They then actually start talking to them. They give you information, and they then explain why they're doing it, and then they tell you, and then you pick up the feeling of like, okay, I know what you're doing your own reasons, not for beneficial. So yeah, that was really interesting, and that's when I now watch when people get inducted, and it's horrible what they have to go through.
Yeah.
I'm watching it and going, they're describing Sage Reticuli, and then having that kind of, the way the knowledge I got was like a download of the knowledge, what was, what they're trying to do. So yeah.
Yeah. No, it must be a difficult position to be in.
Yeah.
Like bang in the middle of it all.
Yeah.
But rather you than me, that's all I'm going to say.
I mean, most of the information I don't actually remember. I have to literally sit there and go, right, I need to write this down because I don't.
Got you. Yeah. I suppose if you're doing so much of it, you're not going to be able to remember every single little bit of detail. No. Right, got a couple more questions for you. I'm not going to do them in order because of the relevance of it. So this next one's from Polly. Hi, Polly. And she wants to know, not even that one, click the wrong one. It keeps moving. Every time we go to press it, the chat goes up. Yeah, right, here we go. So, what do we lack from the Rendlesham incident to make it a proved case in Congress if it was possible? Now, I've got an answer for this, but I'll see what yours is first. Because we have spoke about this, haven't we? Only very briefly.
I'm a little bit annoyed that, it's been 40 years now since this incident happened. The thing I get a little bit kind of when I was looking into Rendlesham Forest was that people have different ideas what happened, and it gets quite confusing of which way you go in it. Because it's kind of like, and then you've got people saying, that guy used to work at the UK Ministry of Defence. He got involved.
Nick Pope.
People saying, well, actually, he could be implanted, and it's like, and then it kind of gets even more confusing. And then you then find out they've got like 18 folders of the Rendlesham Forest, which is still classified, and it's trying to work out what actually happened. I find it quite confusing what happened in the forest.
Well, there's so many. So obviously, we've been to Rendlesham. We spoke to so many different people. That night when I seen you, Mike Millward, on the Sunday, he took me to meet Ronnie Dugdale. He does a car boot on a Sunday. And he introduced me to Ronnie, and we was chatting to him for 20 minutes, half an hour. And not just from what he said, but a lot of different people. It's like, was it a military psyop thing? Was it not just the sites? Was it an experiment? Was it something that they don't know? Was it the UK? Was it the US? Was it Russians? Was it something ET? was someone messing about with portals and they've opened something and things have come through. And there's 8 just in one sentence. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we've been to the site and I've interviewed people that have been there and they've documented it and they've gone back and they've researched it from days, months, years even. And no one still seems to know exactly what it was. I watched a documentary on it probably about 3-4 days before we met up in Rendlesham. And they were saying about certain people that were there. I'm not going to name the names. You're probably going to work out who it is yourself anyway, if you know anything about Rendlesham. There's one guy that he said he met up with these beings and he had conversations with them and he did the lie detector. I can't remember the proper name for it.
Oh,
And,
yeah, I remember that.
And he come back and he lied. 90% of what he said was pure lies. Other people, was it Colonel Holt? That everything he said from day one hasn't changed up to present date, and not once has it come back to say that he was chatting BS. Everything he said was bang up. Nothing. He said the same thing to millions of different people, and he hasn't changed his story one bit. So then you've got that side to it, but then there's these other people that were with him or working with him, and they've changed their story 3-4 times.
Yeah.
Now, why would you do that, knowing that you're going to get caught out? If there's one, say there's a handful of people that have stuck to the same story from the very beginning, regardless of whether it's true or not, if you stick to that same story, and then you get these other people that are working alongside them, and they're changing theirs, completely changing it, not just like, oh, I forgot this little bit of detail, which is what happens when you have an encounter yourself. I know when I've been talking about some of my encounters, I'll forget something or I'll remember something part way through. And it's like, shit, that sounds like that I've made it all up. Even though it's only one little bit of detail, it's because I completely forgot about it. And then the next time I talk about it, I might remember or forget something else. Unless you write it all down, you're not going to, like you were saying before, you're not going to remember every single little tiny bit of detail on anything.
I mean, obviously, it's been 40 years, so your memory after that does kind of, you do forget. It's just human nature. It happens. And obviously, because you've got people who have done lie detector tests and done another lie detector test and basically failed, it then kind of makes you kind of wonder, so why were you lying? And first off, now you've led people down this route of actually this could have happened. And then when people find out, oh, he lied about it, the person lied about it, it then kind of confuses it even more because it's like, then where do you go now?
Yeah, it complicates it.
Yeah. And I think
complicates and contaminates the truth.
And I think Rendlesham Forest is it's literally just a mess because it's almost like you have to go in and kind of pick out what actually happened, and it takes so much time to figure out. And it doesn't help when people kind of, twist it or lie about it, because it really just puts you off what actually happened.
Yeah, but it's like you said before. When I first went, I thought it was just about the UFO. Didn't know about all this other stuff. Didn't know about Alistair Crowley doing stuff there back in the day. I didn't know about the Iceni tribe with what's she called? But
Macbeth?
No, she was a queen.
Boudica,
yeah. The different pronunciation for it, but Queen Boadicea, that was it. Boadicea, Boudica, whatever you want to call it. She was doing stuff and was living in and around Rendlesham. Like I said, Alistair Crowley. You've got the military, UK and US. You've got there are traces of black magic and all that kind of goings on as well. Voodooism, is that a word? It is now.
Is it Voodoo? Voodoo.
Yeah, but you've traces of all that going on. There's been big cat sightings, whether they're natural or supernatural. Do you know what I mean? And Elaine's brother, Derek Savory, when he was alive, he was saying about there's a woman that there's a certain part that you used to go to and used to do levitation. And that was the area where Alex will tell you this as well, and Elaine, that's where they kept getting kicked out of. Derek actually got banned from going back to this place.
I remember that.
And so where the house is, it's just a bit further. I'm sure it's just a bit further down from the house. But yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
No. All right. And I know other people that have been there, and I've told you they had them weird stuff going on, like there's something rattling on top of his car. Then there's a chihuahua at the side of the road. Then there's a load of deer just ran and stopped in front of the car. This is like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. He just wanted to get the hell out of there. And there was something stopping him or not wanting him to leave. Alex will tell you himself, they've had orbs go into the car. They've had MIB. They've had blanked out helicopters, vehicles trying to run them off the road. Yeah. There's been all sorts of shit going on. So considering there's nothing going on at Rendlesham, there's a lot of secrecy, and they're doing a lot of stuff to prevent people from finding out what is going on. I've been walking down the path and I've seen what looked like there's a person going through the trees coming the other way. And when I looked online, I told you about this. It was a World War II SS uniform. The hat, the coat, everything, absolutely bang on. Another time we was walking down, me and Alex, and we were like shuffling. I said to Alex, was that you shuffling? He went, Andy, why would I be shuffling? I'm 70 odd years old or whatever. I goes, it just sounded like go on the gravel path. Yeah. And Mike was in the woods. He'd gone to relieve himself. And he felt like there was someone stood right next to him. I walked past him. As in or around the same time that we felt and heard someone stood like right next to me and Alex. But we couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
And it was just so much. We've heard humming noise. We was out. Do you know where the drop log is? So you've got the lemon squeezer, and you walk down, and there's a tree that's fallen. It's just that little bit too high to climb over, and you can't get under it. You've got to walk around it. But he was just a bit further down past that, and we heard humming, like there's a nest of hornets or something above us. And we're looking up, and it's all pine trees and that, so there's no leaves, not till you're like right near the top of the tree, and we couldn't see anything.
Oh,
there's no, like you get the bulge of like a bee's nest or a hornet's nest. It comes out like a sack. And then we was picking K2 meters started to spike at that moment, and then it just stopped. But at the same time, both me and Alex says, you feel like you're being watched.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when...
it's just...
When we were... I wasn't trying to think of the map. Yeah, because when you were talking about when he got kicked out, I've seen black cars, because obviously, isn't it in the UK, like, parts of the cars, they're allowed to black off, but not parts of them. Someone's saying they can't black off, like, the front window screen or something.
You can only black out, by law, you can only black out 2/3 of the light. So you have to have at least 33.3% of light coming into the vehicle. Yeah. Otherwise, it's illegal.
This car was literally blacked out. You couldn't see in it. And I went, okay, that's a bit strange in the forest with a black car. And then I've been to that track before, but I've been walking down a track, and all of a sudden there'd be what we call men in black, or you'd have people who are in military clothes, and they'd come up to you and say, excuse me, you can't go down that track. And I'm like, it's a public track, why can I not go down the track? We're not doing military trainings, but it's for your own safety. You can't go down that track. So I was basically, and they watched to make sure I went back the other way, that I didn't go round. I mean, these were like
Well,
proper armed with guns, and I'm like, they didn't have like the safety turned on apparently. Because I looked at it, I was saying to someone who used to
it's
work
like
in the military.
it's a little colour switch, isn't it? That
Yeah, and you
flicks
say, well, do they have
horizontal,
the switch
vertical.
on? And I went, no. And he says, it was actually off the safety. And went, well, I think so. If you didn't have a switch on, I don't know. I have no knowledge when it comes to guns. It was just like, why are you standing there? Because I've been down that footpath multiple times and I've never seen a military person turn up. And then we got back and they were saying this black car. We got into the car, into our normal car. We came out of Rendlesham, turned around.
Is this at Eastgate?
So yeah, we went from Eastgate. So you know where, what's his name? Elaine's partner says where A1 is.
So, yes.
Yeah. We went down there and halfway down that track, these military people came up and went, you can't go down that track. And
so area 1 is there where, so it takes you to the back of the airport, the runway where the big green hangars are. You can literally sit, if you stand at an angle, cock your head a bit, you can see into the hangars, can't you?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's where, when me and Tim went, we heard like 2 women chattering, and we could hear like a like a 2-way conversation. Couldn't make out what it was, both female, and then it just stopped. And we're looking at binoculars are zooming on my phone. There was nobody on the base. We couldn't see anyone. And then all talking just completely stopped.
Yeah, I mean, when I got to A1, and I got that, I was just going to look where the craft landed because it didn't land where they put in the statue. So I was looking around, and obviously I have done it once where I kind of, the made people were there, and I kind of snuck around them on the backside to kind of get into A1. And I was sitting there like looking and like feeling it, or like, just wanted to see what was going on at A1. And these military people kind of not saw me, they actually did see me. And they kind of got very anxious, like, they were quick walking, but they're very anxiously. And I was like, well, we've got to go because those military people are going to come and tell us, we shouldn't be here. But I was like, it's not the forest, why are they kind of patrolling this area? And you find certain parts of the forest, you get military people there, you either get people, men in black are there, who tell you don't go down that track, don't go down this track, who follow you out, who literally, you can like, okay, but it's like, no, we escort you off the trail. And it's like, why do you escort me off the trail? There's no military stuff being planned in this forest, in that section of the forest. So why do you need to escort me off? And they escort you off the track, and they even make sure you get back to Eastgate, and they know where your car is, what type of car you got, and they make sure, and they take you to the car, and it's just like, what actually is happening?
They've seen you before you've even pulled up and parked in the car park.
Oh, we've had we coming out Rendlesham, going back to Woodbridge, and this black car was right behind. I've been really close, and all of a sudden, as we got out of the gate, out of the forest, it sped up and overtook us really quickly, and I was like, okay, that's not normal.
No,
you don't. It was almost like they purposely were behind us to make sure we actually got out of the forest area.
Yeah, but so going back to the question, I think there's no one knows what's really. Someone somewhere does know what happened, and whether they've shared it with somebody else. There's at least one person that has gone, oh shit, this is what happened. We need to cover this, and it's either got out of hand, or they've carried on like Montauk, like Alistair Crowley, like trying to recreate and make it happen again. They've caused more issues than solving the problem.
You've got people in the forest who, I'll be honest with you, who are trying to what happened in the forest. Was it December
1980.
1980? Trying to kind of bring it back, and I'm like, you're trying to proactively make the activity back, or you're trying to, I don't think you can re-summon it, but it looked like they were really desperately trying to summon it back and, have a second, encounter. I remember them doing it, but I can't. I mean, they did see a bit of orbs in that, but they do that in the forest, and to this day they're still trying to get the activity back. They're still trying to, have this triangle craft land in the forest, and I'm like, I think people just need to know what actually happened in that forest, because loads of people go there and loads of people want to find out what happened there.
Do you think it could be the military that are trying to recreate it? Because they've been given so much knowledge, so much tech, but they can't quite duplicate it.
Yeah.
So where we're saying that we've got these different groups that are going in there that just look like normal people, how do we know that they're not military personnel going in to look like me or you?
Mm.
And they're going in to do that, because if they're going in and they're wearing all the gear and they're all suited and booted, they're going to stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
And so why would it go in incognito?
And it's very interesting, because when you see these groups, and I've told this, when you see these people, they kind of like, as soon as they see you, it's like, oh, quickly hide, or they very quickly on edge that you kind of stumbled in what they were doing. And it's like, but it's quite obvious what you're trying to do.
Yeah, you've just made it more obvious than what it was in the first place.
Makes you want to stay there and kind of go, what actually are you doing? But they don't. They try to get you off the site as quick as they can.
Yeah, I know. It's very intriguing. I'd love to know what went on. More, I'd like to know who caused it to happen and why it happened. More like, was it to do with Crowley? Was it to do with the military? Was it just from a different species of humans? You know what? That's what I'd like to know. Just get that bit first. But in the original question about it going to Congress and all that, what evidence would we need?
But did it try to go to Congress and it got
probably got laughed out?
Yeah, something happened to it.
Yeah, but for it to be any hard evidence, you would have to have some actual hard evidence. You'd have to have something to say, look, this is what we found there, an object, a piece of material, not just witness statements or, well, I went and I touched it and I got this binary download and this, that, and the, anyone can say anything. I could go and say that. Do you know what I mean? You could say that about anything, anywhere.
I mean, also human beings, we do have that tendency to kind of lie. So we could, say that.
Make it more exciting.
Yeah. So we could someone had the experience, and actually, let's kind of add to the actual what actually happened. Like, let's just add this to this and kind of, see.
Make it sound more exciting and more. Yeah, because like you said, people are adding to it. Other than that, is it Colonel Holt? but everyone just seems, not everyone, but a lot of people are adding to it to, suppose, keep it alive, keep the myth of Rendlesham going.
Yeah.
But we just want the facts.
I
Whether
mean,
it's boring or exciting doesn't matter. We just want to know the truth.
for me, I'm getting quite fed up and bored of it. I'm just getting to the stage where I thought, just tell us.
Yeah.
It's been 40 years now. Just tell us what happened.
Yeah.
Because we're not finding out ourselves what happened. It's just getting to the point where just tell us, please.
Yeah. But then it could be, well, they're not telling us because they don't actually know.
True.
Maybe they've filled in the gaps with, well, it could be like they do with history. They fill in the gaps of what the best possibility, the best scenario possibility would be in that time frame.
Yeah.
Maybe they're doing that, so it's like it's just pure BS.
Yeah.
And we don't know. And on that note, we are at the end of the show as well, unfortunately. Sorry. We're literally at, well, we've got 4 minutes. Sorry. We've still got 4 minutes. So I've got one more question for you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And this is back from Polly. So if you were to pick a British experiencer to go to Congress, who would she or he be and why?
I don't know, I don't really get involved in politicians, but I'd probably pick someone who is not gonna kind of, doing it for their own reasons, but is doing it because they want it to come out.
Yeah.
They're fed up with being stonewalled. That's what I say. It's been stonewalled for quite a lot of years now. Have someone who's actually doesn't care if they offend someone in the military, but is actually going to go there and is actually going to right, this is it. We need to know what actually happened and actually get it out there. And a lot of these people who try to do this either get shut down, either get told, either you get threatened, actually, I say you get threatened if you do this, you can lose your job, you can lose this. There is so much, things where people who military, all these people who kind of do a very quick to kind of shut it down and keep they rather just keep it a secret and no one else know about it. Let's be honest, that's what they've been trying to do for 4 years, is not tell us what's been going on, but have someone who is going to stand up there and not care at all and actually really hardly get it out because it needs to come out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they don't want a politician to do it. They need someone that's been going there and studying it from pretty much day one, that's not going to give you all the BS like you were just saying. And it's just, they want to know as much as everybody else. And that's the sort of person. And I don't think it should just be one person. I think there should be a group of people.
Yeah.
Like, say, maybe 3, 4, 5 people, a team, and each one has their own what's the word? Not subject. Their own pinpoint of what they want.
Yeah. I mean, I get a little bit annoyed that you see 3 famous YouTubers who go to Rendlesham, do probably 1 or 2 videos, and go to the areas where I kind of sit there and think, well, no, you need to go to this area because this is where you're going to experience some activity. Go there, do video, and then don't come back. And it's like you just looked into the UFO side, didn't you look into the other phenomena and using this equipment? And it's like, well, you need to kind of spend an actual week in that forest to really know what's going on. Don't spend 1 day in that forest because you don't get as much evidence. And when Alex went on to the he did an interview with ITV. Obviously, he did it anonymously.
Yeah.
When that hit, I kind of felt the not producer, the one who was doing the interviews. I kind of felt him was like, very quickly went into that kind of skeptical mind of dismissing it. And I'm like, why are you so quick to dismissing it? He was saying, well, personally, I think he was saying that, well, personally, I don't believe in it. I'm just dismissing it, and always giving the impression that people who are actually looking into this are just mad people. Yeah, and that really did annoy me, because it's like you're giving that impression.
Yeah. I know. It's sad, but that's the media for you, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just the way it goes. Right, we are at the end. So massive thank you, Miles, for coming on. Absolutely loved it. Definitely we need to get you back on the regular Wednesday when Nicole's on as well, and do an even deeper dive into it.
I'll be up to that Wednesday to do a deeper dive, because you really need to do a deep dive into that forest.
Yeah, literally, physically, mentally.
Yeah, absolutely. All of them.
All of the above. So thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you for your questions. Thank you to Og for doing the moderating. This is going to be going out on podcasts at Apple, Spotify, whatever they're all called. I can't remember. It's just so many of them.
Add when the next come back on, talk about that photo I took at the next.
Because what I'll do, I'll try and clean it up a bit, and I'll add it onto the stream so we can see. Well, we can try and say exactly what it is we're looking at, and then we'll leave the judgment to everyone else. But we'll sort something out, and we'll get you back on, and we'll go from there. So thank you again. You're going to put a copy of this on your podcast as well, aren't you? So what's the name of your podcast?
Mine is Midnight Talks.
Yep, and it's just audio.
Mine's audio and video, but Spotify converts it into audio automatically.
Yeah.
So it's Midnight Talks is my podcast.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Right, so on that note, we're going to go. I will be back on Wednesday. And in a moment, I'll tell you we've got coming on. We've got Angela Harris coming on. So Angela's been on before. She's good friends with Paul Howard, who does Hosts for Ghosts, or Ghosts for Hosts. I never remember. One of them anyway. So Angela's going to be coming on and talking about her paranormal encounters and going out investigating, etc. So on that note, we're going to go. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and speak to you all very, very soon. Take care, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.